Want to talk about let's call it the shot heard around the world, the first inoculation of a potential vaccine by Moderna that was given this morning at 6:45 a.m. The CEO from Moderna, that would be Stéphane Bancel, was on Yahoo Finance's First Trade this morning. Here's what he said.
We have said before, we have to make a profit out of the first product we sold because we have invested $2 billion of our shareholder capital since we started the company. The company has never made a profit. And as I said, we raised another $1.3 billion of equity capital in May that is going to make product at risk, assuming the product is successful. And so we need to get a return. We are highly aware that this is a pandemic and that we need to be very, very responsible how we price the product. We've said before, we will price the product within the range of vaccines already approved.
We invite into the program Anjali Kamlani, who watches COVID vaccines and everything COVID related for us. What's the latest on not only Moderna, but other companies beginning their human testing?
That's correct, Adam. So as we know, we did get that first dose from Moderna today in Georgia. We just got off a call with NIH, NIAID, as well as Stéphane Bancel, and they were discussing how they plan to have at least 15,000 enrolled by the end of the week. They've already had applications for more than 100,000 people interested in participating, but that total that's going to be tested or participating in that trial will be 30,000. They're going to be dosed with 100 micrograms, and that is from those earlier trial results. They saw the effectiveness of that, and they're going to be given both the initial as well as a booster shot. And lots of discussion about diversity in the trials, as well as whether or not a two-shot vaccine makes sense, considering the fact that it is a pandemic and that second shot requires follow-up by the patient themselves. So definitely waiting to see and hear about that. Meanwhile, we know that Johnson & Johnson also slated to start their phase 1 of their vaccine candidate this week. That is a different type of vaccine, and we know that J&J is one of those companies that is well known in the vaccine industry, one of the largest pharmaceutical companies, and so waiting to see how that all pans out. Both of these, important to mention, part of Operation Warp Speed, so definitely waiting to see how all the government funding as well as research efforts go.
And you might say there was a kind of grim milestone today regarding Florida, New York, and cases of COVID. What's that?
Unfortunately, yes, Florida has just surpassed New York, which was the previous hotspot in the country, to become the second most with the number of cases. California also passed last week. So it's definitely starting to look a little bit more like correlated to population density than it is to just where the cases are. But that is an unfortunate milestone, more than 400,000 cases in each of these spots. The global count right now, more than 16 million, and continuing to rapidly increase. We heard from the World Health Organization earlier today that they are looking to reconvene that emergency committee to decide on whether or not to continue the declaration of a global health pandemic.